Hi YouTube. I just finished sewing a sample on this is my little scratch piece of paper, and I just wanted to show you here's paper fabric. I just wanted to show you whenever you cut and start sewing again, you want to make sure that your threads are going towards the back and they're long, like 6 to 8 inches, because if they're not, when you start sewing, the thread will just come right out. It'll pull right out of the top and you'll have to rethread it again. So what I'm going to do for you today is show you, I have a top that the sleeves were long sleeve and I wanted to make it 3/4 sleeves. So I cut them off and all I did was cut it with a scissors. Let me just pull it out here. I just cut it with a scissors and just cut it right off. So here, and I didn't actually fix it and hem it. I just wore it like that. Probably for 6 months, but look what's happened. The seam is coming apart and I'm going to finish this off today. So this is now a 3/4 sleeve, cooler shirt. So what I'm going to do first of all is finish this seam right here, and then the seam right here that's coming out, because if I were just to lean that over like that, I'd have to make a bigger hem, and I am not wanting to make a large hem because I actually cut the sleeve too short. So since I want it to be as little hem as I can get, I'm going to finish this seam off, which I'm not going to serge it. This is a serge stitch from a serger. I'm just going to sew a straight stitch here and show you how I can I'm going to put it down a little bit over, so that you always want to overlap. So I'm just gonna sew it right here. And then as soon as I get close to the back, I'm going to hit the reverse stitch so it doesn't ravel or come out. So now it's a secure stitch, and I'm going to push this so that the needle goes up, and then I'm just going to cut it right off there. That's how I do that. So see, now it's secure. It's going all the way to the end. I'm going to take my scissors and cut the tail off, which this is the extra 6 inches I talked about. And so now I need to turn this under. Now here's something interesting. There's 2 choices on this. First of all, I can just, because this is stretch, and I can do this and, you know what? Look, there's a second seam on this I didn't know about. Let me go ahead and do that while you're waiting. I'll go ahead and do that off camera. Okay, sometimes your sleeve is so small that you can't get in here and work with it. You can't, because this is stretchy. I can stretch this out, but sometimes this may be a cotton sleeve and it's a short sleeve and it's not as big as this is. So then this machine, you pull this off and it actually gives you a smaller area, and usually a sleeve will fit over this. And don't look at my fingernail. I've actually took the polish off of this one nail only. Anyway, so now you could slip the arm over that and sew. Since I need to sew from the inside though. Okay, so you want to have this inside out because you're going to fold this over. And I'm just using this. I don't need to put this on this arm like this and pull it off. But since I want the smallest seam that I can get, I'm going to use this to hold it. And where are my threads? See, I want to make sure my threads are out the back. And it doesn't matter where I start. So I'm just going to make this as small of a seam as I can. And you don't want to sew right next to the edge here. You want to sew as close to this part as you can, as close to the top of the hem. because otherwise your hem will fold over. It'll fold over, you know, and you want to make it look the same distance. So this one's probably going to be about 1/4 inch. And I'm going over the seam. So then here I'm going to pull this to make that so it, see, the problem is because it's a knit, it does want to, you know, pull in. So I'm going to fold this over, and you don't want it to fold over and give you, you want it to just look like it's a, okay, I'm almost to the end here. You want to make sure you pull the 2 strings out from where you started. Now see, if here's one thing, if I pull this too tight, it's going to make it narrower. So you just you don't want to pull it, but you don't want to have it, you do want to have it a little bit pulled. I know that doesn't make any sense, but if you don't do that, because I'm using a straight stitch, you might, you know, your arm might be too big and it would be tight. So I'm stretching it a little bit as I go, but right there is where it started, and I'm almost there. And I'm just going to overlap those by a couple stitches, and then I'm going to go back and forward, and I'm going to go up with my needle, and there I have it. So I'm going to cut this like out 6 inches, and then I'm going to trim these threads because I went back over it. It's all secured. I just trim the threads, cut them on the inside and the outside. I can cut them right next to it because I went in reverse. And there it is. And you've hemmed. And see, this is so, I mean, it's just so easy. So anytime you have a shirt, you know, that's a straight, something you can just cut off. You could even cut off a cotton shirt that you wanted to make shorter that had a cuff on it, and you always want to cut your threads. The thing is, if you cut your threads and you don't secure it by going over it backwards and forwards, if you cut it, it'll just unravel. So you always want to, you know, reverse and go over it. And you always want to keep these threads to the back. And so anyway, there you have it. And let me know if you have any other questions. Have a great day. Bye.